Hey, this is Don the Idea Guy. It is October 11th. It's a Tuesday. This is the episode number 21, and here's what's running through my mind. Today, what's running through my mind on the only broadcast from a parking lot is becoming less allergic to kryptonite. I've used this phrase. Stick with me. I've used this phrase in several of my live events as a way to describe how you should enhance your strengths and not worry so much about becoming an expert at what you're weak at. That point is Superman does not go home at night and work on being less allergic to kryptonite. Kryptonite is his weakness. He's great at all these other things. He's great at flying. He's great at being bulletproof. He's great at coming to the rescue of Lois Lane. What he's not great at is standing up to kryptonite. He's allergic to it. He can't go home and work on being less allergic to kryptonite. He goes with his strengths. He literally soars with his strengths. Let's talk about Batman. Batman can't go home at night and work on being more bulletproof, right? He's a human. If he gets hit with a bullet, it'll hurt him or kill him. What he can get better at is avoiding bullets. So he can develop better armor to withstand gunshots. He can get better at avoiding being in a shooter's gun sights by hiding himself in the shadows. He can get better at giving the bad guys something obvious to shoot at that is bulletproof, which that's been one of the reasons behind the fact that he has the Bat logo on his chest as a bright yellow kind of beacon versus the rest of his clothing, which is all dark. If he's going to hide in the shadows, why would he have this bright yellow sign in the middle of his chest? Well, that's where the bulletproofing is most reinforced. So if they hit him there, he's got the most protection. Some say that that's why he dressed Robin in such bright colors, because it'll make Robin a target and keep the bullets off of him. But that's a little more cynical than I'm going to be in today's episode. So let's continue with the superheroes. The Flash has super speed. He's not bulletproof, but he can run as fast as a bullet, match its speed, and just pluck it out of the air. Or he can move so quickly he'll be out of the way of a bullet headed his way. But he's not bulletproof. He doesn't go home at night and practice getting hit with bullets because he's going to build up a tolerance to it. So, what are your strengths? What are you really good at? What do you have an affinity for? Strengthen those. Get better at those things that you're already good at. It's easier. 2, it's what you're going to become known for. But what are the things you're really bad at? Are you really bad at math? Are you really bad at building websites? Is it something you want to get better at? I mean, does your career hinge on being better at math? If so, I think maybe you chose the wrong career, because yes, you might get a little better at your job by becoming a little better at math, but you're not going to soar to the top of your career heights by getting better at your weakest point, because you're as strong as you could get at your weakest point is not as strong as you'll get at your strongest point. But if you work on getting stronger at what you're already strong at, you'll become the best at that. You could become the best, the person that people go to for that. Not the best person to go to for this one thing, but man, I really went to them because they're mediocre at that other thing. You could get better at web design, but people will always be better than you. There'll always be somebody better than you at web design, and people will seek out that person who's better than you. Find the thing that you're best at. For me, it was ideas. I'm talking around, I'm trying to keep it general, but for me, the best example I can give you is myself. For me, I was going to draw comic books when I was a kid. So I went to art school and I practiced and I took classes and I worked really, really hard at being able to draw the human figure. Well, that just didn't work out. I found out that I was way better coming up with the story ideas than I was at actually drawing them. And it's really a lot of fun drawing the superhero in the heroic pose. And even as bad as I was, I could still manage that, that kind of champion shot, hands on hips, standing there, taking on the world. What I was really bad at was drawing buildings and perspective and cars. And if Superman's going to, like the classic cover of Action Comics, Superman's picking up an automobile, I would be really bad at drawing the automobile. Nobody's going to buy my comic book because I can't draw. Now, that works for some people. I will let that artist remain nameless. But I never bought his comics because he did not draw as well as other people. So I stopped trying to get better at the thing I was worst at and started writing instead. Or I would give the other students ideas that they could use for their projects. And I found out I had a knack for coming up with creative ideas. So I spent my life getting better at coming up with better ideas. Now I think I'm probably one of the best at coming up with ideas. In general, I can come up with ideas specific to marketing because there might be people who are better at coming up with ideas for space travel or engineering. But for marketing stuff, I want to be the go-to guy for that. So I'm still working on it. I can still improve. But I think I'm one of the better folks that you can come to for that. I'm not good at web design. I can design a website. I did my website, which is being pointed out to me recently that is not working so well on mobile. So I'm going to need to work on making my website better at mobile. Now, am I going to go do that? Or will I get somebody who's better at designing websites to help me with that? It is not a good use of your time to go home and work to become the best at what you are weakest at. Now, I'm not saying you should not constantly improve. Attitude's something I think everybody should work on. I think a lot of people have a horrible attitude, but they can work on attitude and they can get better at attitude. They don't have to have the best attitude. They just need to have a better attitude. So you can get better at things. That will certainly improve your lot in life if you get better at things. But don't drive yourself crazy that you have to be the best at everything. People are lucky if they become the best at one thing. How many of us ever achieve that? But don't kick yourself for not becoming the best at what you don't have an affinity for, what you don't like doing, what you don't enjoy doing. Why subject yourself to that torture? Find the things that you enjoy doing. Find the things that you're good at doing and work on strengthening those, reinforcing those strengths, getting better at what you're best at. That's it for today. What are you best at? Shoot me an email, leave me a comment, visit dontheideaguy.com, tweet me. You can find me pretty much anywhere, Don the Idea Guy. That's my screen name on most sites. You can find me on my Facebook group at facebook.com/theideaguy. I would love to have you join the group. Tell me what you thought. I do the podcast announcements there. Going to have more episodes coming up every day this week. So I think this is going to be it for today. We will talk more tomorrow, probably about this same time, for episode 22 of Running Through My Mind.